But we are in the Capital One Bowl. This is supposed to be basically the top two bowls of the Big Ten outside of the Rose Bowl is the Capital One and the Outback.
Yeah.
And Nebraska very well could have 80 scored on them in this one. And they played Georgia, who played in the SEC championship game, had a very, very, very close game with Alabama. In fact, was up for a portion of that game.
For just about all of it.
And, the large portion. And we saw what happened to Nebraska in the Big Ten championship game. Somehow Wisconsin put up 70 on you. And this is not going to be any more favorable to Nebraska. Georgia all the way.
Well, let me tell you why Nebraska wins. And I think Nebraska wins by a lot. Georgia doesn't want to be in this game. Georgia wants to be playing January 7th against Notre Dame. They can care less about the Capital One Bowl. Nebraska should have lost earlier in the season to Wisconsin. They snuck out a victory. I don't know how they did it. That was Harry Houdini stuff. But they snuck it out. And they went up against Wisconsin team that's like, hey, this one's for Monte Ball. This one's, whether they knew it was going to be for coach or not for coach, coach ran it up. And I don't think that happens again. Nebraska will be prepared, and Nebraska wins. And I think Nebraska wins like by 2 touchdowns.
Okay, that is going to be the major difference because this was high on my confidence level.
So we'll either go back to this and be, what a genius, or, yeah, we can use this as fodder for the behind-the-scenes clips later on, when we have the best of 2012, 2013 show.
Well, here's another SEC Big Ten matchup for you then. What are your thoughts on South Carolina, Michigan in the Outback Bowl?
I now go back to always go against the Big Ten. And this is a tough one, too, because I would like to go with Michigan on this. I like the defense. I like Jake Ryan. But I don't like South Carolina as much without Lattimore. But I got to go with South Carolina and the old ball coach, as much as I hate to say that.
I'm going with South Carolina as well, even though I don't think they're going to have Lattimore back, correct?
No,
he's done yet. He was toast from that injury.
Going pro.
But, even without Lattimore, South Carolina is just too good for Michigan and shoelaces. So, enough with the Outback Bowl. Once again, here's another Big Ten Bowl, but this is the granddaddy of all bowls. Wisconsin with an 8-5 record, 4-4 in the Big Ten, going up against Stanford, who was 11-2 and 8-1 in the Pac-12. Records, if they say anything, means that Stanford's going to win. I think that's saying a lot. Stanford.
And granted, the reason Wisconsin's in this is because Ohio State decided last year to go to a bowl game, kind of, changing everything for this year, which maybe Wisconsin still goes to. Well, probably not, because they wouldn't have. Who knows what would happen? They wouldn't have been in the championship game. Penn State, we know about their troubles. But I go with Stanford on this. I think it's going to be close. I think Wisconsin, Barry Alvarez, he's never lost in a Rose Bowl. He's good. I don't know if he's been favored in any of the Rose Bowls he's been in. But here's one thing he doesn't have in this Rose Bowl is Ron Dane. He does have Monte Ball. Stanford's pretty good. They're real good. They beat Oregon. They got a lucky call at the end.
They barely, in overtime, lost to Notre Dame.
Yeah, they shouldn't have lost it. The reason they beat Oregon is because they lost to Notre Dame. The bad call they got evened out, and I go with Stanford. But if I was to bet with like the spread or whatever, Wisconsin covers. They just don't.
Not enough.
Yeah, like most of their recent games, like TCU and last year. And we move on to the Discover Orange Bowl,
which probably ticked many teams off. We have a 12-1 Northern Illinois team, 8-0 in the MAC. Their one loss coming to, I'll say it now, hapless Iowa. That's the first time I've thrown Iowa under the bus tonight, but I had to do it. They don't belong in a BCS Bowl this year. That's my personal opinion. there are years where TCU and Boise State belonged in the BCS games because they were either undefeated or they had lost one against a top 10 team that remained in the top 10 the entire year. But to lose to Iowa and knock out someone like a Georgia, just not good. So we're gonna go with Florida State and Florida State big.
All right. Well, that's interesting of you to have that in there.
Oh no!
They're not. See, they didn't knock out of Georgia because Florida was in there. You can only have two SEC teams.
Right. Okay, you got me there. Well, then they knocked out someone else, and I'm going to throw someone else out there as Oklahoma, correct.
And who cares? It's a bowl game. Here's a couple things that I'm going to say about this. Number one, it's been they've had one loss in like 16 months. That one loss was to Iowa, but I go back to what we talked about earlier. It was the beginning of the season. They didn't know Iowa sucked. They thought Iowa was a Big Ten team. Iowa did not really know that Northern Illinois was that good. And they should have known they were pretty good at the end, and Northern Illinois defense is good. So I'm going to say Northern Illinois wins based on that because people don't realize. I think Florida State's watching some film. They're overconfident right now. They're kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team. Northern Illinois, they are going to be watching Oklahoma versus Boise State game from 2007, and they go out and they have fun, and some will say, no, this is going to be like the USC Iowa Orange Bowl, and USC got knocked back at first, and then they crushed Iowa. I say no. Northern Illinois beats Florida State, shocks the world.
Don't agree, but that's exactly what we do here on this show.
Absolutely.
I think they're going to be awestruck, and they're going to. I just, you know what? I hope Northern Illinois wins because I really don't like the Seminoles, but I just can't see that happening. So
brings us to the All-State Sugar Bowl, Louisville, Florida. I got Florida.
Big East kind of blows, so this isn't like Rutgers playing Virginia Tech. This is Louisville playing Florida, and it's Florida.
Oh, yeah, and thank you, Louisville, for not being ranked far enough and winning your conference, because that's what allowed Northern Illinois to be in the BCS. They did deserve to be there because they followed the rules. Then that's all you can do is follow the rules, and thank you for following the rules. Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Now this was the game I wanted to see in the national championship. I still get to see it. It's not in the national championship, but I do get to see it in the Fiesta Bowl. Yeah. This is just going to be Bill Snyder working against Chip Kelly, right?
Sure.
No.
Mike Kelly? Roberto Kelly?
I think it's Chip Kelly, isn't it?
Sure. I think it's Chip Kelly.
I think it's so too. Snyder, Kelly. One wants to put up 75 points. The other one wants to put up 17 points.
Yeah.
And to see how that works.
One that wants to have 75 plays a half. The other one wants to have 17 plays a half.
I mean, it's going to be time of possession. I think K-State's going to just have a huge time of possession advantage. Not to say that that's going to destroy Oregon. It's just because they might score within 25 seconds. So, and then Kansas State will keep it close by scoring in 12 minutes. It's going to be interesting. Contrasting styles, and I'm going to give it to Oregon. I'm going to give this one to Oregon. Once again, confidence level here not too strong for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Oregon wins by 40.
Oh, okay.
Because some people call Baylor a poor Oregon. Well, poor Oregon crushes Kansas State. Rich Oregon smokes Kansas State. Kansas State defense, not great.
No, not great.
Oregon only loses to teams that can control the lines. Yes, Kansas State can control the line.
Just out of curiosity, just play devil's advocate here.
65-17.
Okay, that's good.
I'll write it right there.
All right, so we both have Oregon. I have a little closer game. Would you consider West Virginia a poor Oregon?
No.
Okay.
I would consider them. They're poor Oregon, yes, but they would be like on their 6th mortgage and.
Okay. So poorer than Baylor?
Oh yeah, even though. Definitely.
Even though they out Oregon Baylor in that game? Okay. All right, just because I'm trying to get, because K-State went ahead and did a complete rout of West Virginia. So, and they beat Oklahoma, which has that kind of offensive potential as well. So,
not as much.
No, not as much as Oregon.
And Oregon, huge off. Oregon will score.
Oregon's
defense is much better than both those teams.
I agree with that. Stanford holding Oregon to what, like 13 points, 17 points? And do they have that much
line? Stanford's line is much better than Kansas State's line. Offense and defense.
Okay.
Big
All
boys.
All right, I think it's going to be close. I think it could be anywhere from a 10-point game.
I've been known to be wrong before, so that's all right.
Cotton Bowl.
Hey.
Old Big 12 rivals getting together in the Cotton Bowl. Texas A&M and Oklahoma. Chuck, your thoughts?
Johnny Manziel should not have won the Heisman, but...
Agree.
Who else? I was hoping Colin Klein would get it.
Agree.
But, ESPN decided it should be Johnny Manziel, so it was Johnny Manziel. He had one pass, pretty much, against Alabama. It was just that was it. And they didn't want Klein to have it because he had a bad game against Baylor.
Well, I'm guessing, 10-2 here, so Johnny Manziel couldn't have had a great game against the 2 losses.
No.
Or, for that matter, an SEC team ranked, Louisiana Tech, they beat them by 1 point or 2 points or something like that.
Exactly.
It's Louisiana Tech. They're a great team, but it's Louisiana Tech. And here, just one more quick thought about that. Chuck just got done talking about K-State, okay? Granted, I think, obviously we had a little difference there in how close K-State can keep it with Oregon. But what was one of his main reasons? They don't have the talent level on the defensive side of the ball. They don't have the talent level that Oregon has kind of all around, right?
Correct.
Okay. Does Texas A&M have more talent level around Johnny Manziel than Colin Klein does at K-State?
Probably.
A little bit?
I think so.
Okay. So, Colin Klein going 11-1 versus Texas A&M going 10-2, and less talent around Klein than Manziel. Hopefully I proved my case, but my case never wins.
No.
I talked to Troy Davis twice, and I'm not just being a homer here. That helps. But if the opposing defensive coordinator says, all right, when we go to Ames or when Iowa State comes here, all we got to do is we got to shut down the running back. We'll put 8-9 guys in the box. If they throw the ball and we get beat, that's fine. They never do. If that is what has to be done in order to stop Iowa State, and they do exactly what they thought, and he still runs for 275 yards, that's saying something.
Absolutely. So, who are you going with in this game?
Texas A&M.
I'm going Boomer Sooner, baby. That's the best pick of the night right there.
All right, so the Compass Bowl. Pittsburgh versus Ole Miss.
Here's a game I really
care less about. Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with you, folks. This is another game I'm not watching. It's January 5th. Birmingham, Ole Miss. I'm going Ole Miss because, again, I'm just going to use I'm going to take the SEC.
I'm doing the exact same thing. Ole Miss, SEC.